Greetings in Jesus' name. I give honor to my leadership, allowing me to speak to you today about effectively evangelizing the collective immigrant population in North America. Now, we are commissioned to reach all nations, and all nations means all ethnicities. And we can read in the Bible, in the book of Acts, chapter 17, verse 26, the Bible says that God made from one man every nation of mankind to live on all the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and the boundaries of their dwelling place. So God determines where people live and when. And we read in verse 27 that they should seek God and perhaps feel their way toward Him and find Him. Yet He is actually not far from each one of us. Now, what if the movement of people is not something that we should fear? What if the influx of immigrants, refugees, asylum seekers, and international students is an opportunity for us, orchestrated by God, so we can actually fulfill the Great Commission? Many of these people come from access-challenged nations where we are not able to reach them with the gospel. What a blessing to be able to reach people from all nations freely and safely in our cities, in our villages, without the challenges of travel. The vast majority of these immigrants come from collective culture countries, and they move to North America, which is a very individualistic culture. This map that I will show you here shows that with the exception of the United States, Canada, few countries in North Europe, and Australia, the rest of the world has a collective culture. There is a real cultural gap that we need to bridge if we are to effectively evangelize them. We live in an individualistic culture, but most of the world cultures are generally collective. And individualistic and collectivist cultures are so different, but none of them is better than the other. There are many advantages and disadvantages in both. Since birth, these people from collective cultures will be raised that way, and individualist cultures raise their kids in the same way. Now, these are two very different, as I said, makes it hard to build a relationship for personal evangelism. Why knowing this is important? Because we need to build bridges and avoid any offenses and building any walls. Understanding the collectivist culture can help us reach the majority of the immigrants in North America, who are definitely want to come and live here, but we have a cultural gap between us. What is a collectivist culture? Societies in which people, since birth, are integrated into strong, cohesive groups, which throughout people's life continue to protect them in exchange of unquestioning loyalty. Now, the greatest insult is to go against the lifelong loyalty to the group. Now, the group itself is normally large, extended family, and they take responsibility for everybody in that group. Now, the extended family will secure the protection, will secure financial help, and eventually people develop practical and psychological dependency for their group. Now, there are no roadside assistance and no home insurance and no renter's insurance in these countries where they came from. So all what they depend on is their collective family members, tribe, to help them and support them. They are also exclusionists in a sense that they classify others are in of the group or out of the group. So if you are from a different group, then you are excluded automatically. In collective cultures, relationships come before any tasks. They prioritize relationships. And the interests of the group actually take priority over the interest of the person himself. And they value the common good over personal gain. Now, maintaining social harmony in these communities, getting along with others and meeting social expectations is very, very important. And transgression brings shame not just for that person, but also to the family or even the tribe and sometimes the whole country. So societies from the collective communities tend to be more stable, and conservative. Now, when we show hospitality to people from collective cultures, I can tell you that opening our homes to people that are immigrants here or refugees or international students is just show them significant amount of interest and also show them respect. Welcoming strangers and keeping them safe from harm was part of the honor code of most collective cultures. And we will win their hearts when we show them hospitality. Open your home to your friend, because if you insist on having them over and sharing a meal with them, technically that will open a door for a close relationship, and you would have an opportunity to share the gospel with them. It really changes the relationship and fast track that relationship, because when you are vulnerable and open your home, you show them that you have creating an atmosphere for them, that they can be safe in your home, that you are taking care of them and caring for their needs. A casual invitation could be rejected early on in the friendship with a collective immigrant, but you have to know that they could be just shy, they don't want to come, they might need to have it mentioned many times, they need to be invited many times before they agree. It could also be they have dietary restrictions for religious reasons. If you're inviting a Muslim or a Hindu friend, they might not want to tell you that I have some food restrictions that I want you to accommodate. So they feel shy about asking for that. So usually we try to connect with people and tell them, hey, if you're Muslim, I'm going to get you halal food. I'm going to get you food from Middle Eastern store. I'm going to make you food, but it's going to be something that you're able to eat. Same with your Hindu friend. So when we invite them, you have to tell them ahead of time that you are really preparing something for them specifically, and you're honoring them with this meal. Now, this way, hospitality is the main way that collective cultures build trust. Usually, there are two ways to build trust. In the United States and Canada, usually it's based on task. I give you a certain task and you do them, then we're building trust here. Now, in the communities that come from collective background, they want to build trust in an effective way. It's more emotional. It's by talking to each other on a dinner table, and during a picnic, on a birthday table, something that spent hours of exchange of about your families, about your interests. This is how trust is built. So hospitality is actually the vehicle that we can build trust with collective communities. One of the main things also that we have to show them is really showing them love by serving, by doing something, not just telling them we love them. We want to show them that we really care about them and we're willing to do something about it. You know, it's interesting that immigrants have different needs than, North American born citizens, because the challenges of life when you are switching from one country, one continent to the other, it comes with a different set of challenges. Like, say, learning English. They need to get a work permit. They need to have a social security number in the United States. They need to get a driver license. They might need, travel restrictions early on in their process. They might need an immigration lawyer. So the needs are different, and we might not be familiar with these needs because a lot of people born here don't have to go through that. But it's an opportunity for us to actually extend a hand and help. It is an opportunity to build trust while serving them, by teaching them English, by maybe showing them how to get a driver license, maybe getting them and take them to the doctor's office if they have a clinic appointment and they don't know how to communicate what they're feeling. So sometimes these simple acts that don't cost us really any money or any special training, we can bring our own experience and show them that we care about them. And with that, you actually build a relationship with them that is not just friendship. There is a deeper relationship that you can develop with somebody who's an immigrant. Why? Because if you're established here and you know a lot of things, you can be a patron in their life. And that patronage relationship is asymmetrical relationship, where you can provide things that they cannot really pay you back with. And a lot of people in North America shy away from the patronage-client relationship because it's asymmetrical, and we prefer to have a friendship, which is a symmetrical relationship. But also, we should not be shying away from that, because biblically we have so many examples of patronage relationship, like Lydia and Paul. We actually are in a patronage relationship with the missionaries. When we support them and we send them resources so they can preach the gospel, technically we are their patrons. So I want you to kind of look at it from a perspective of sanctifying this patronage relationship for the salvation of their souls. We can use patronage because they use it all the time. They believe in it all the time. They expect it. But when we come to them and we give them something as resources or knowledge or help or driving them or teaching them something, we can ask in return for them to give us some sort of their time when we have a church event, maybe a special event in the church or a special service. We can ask them, when you help them many times, it's okay to ask them to come and attend a church event or come to your home and talk about the Bible, because you have built a relationship of patronage. As long as we do not use this patronage for our personal gain, I think we can sanctify this relationship for the glory of God. So I encourage people in North America to extend the hand and show the love of Christ and use that relationship in a way that really encourage them to be exposed to the gospel. You can also volunteer to help these immigrants when they settle. There are many resettlement agencies that you can find in your area that helps refugees to settle. And it's really easy. Just help them maybe buy groceries or take them to the doctor's office or make them a food basket, help them move. We can get involved in these events to actually build friendship and trust with them. And with that will open a door for future connections. You can, in that volunteer process, you can get their contact information, know more about their families. And I think when they see the love of Christ coming in through these acts of love that you have done, they will feel they trust you and they're open to you and they want to listen to you. So I think this is so important for collective immigrant communities. And that can be also adjusted and be done in your church building or at your home. Now, a lot of people are doing ESL, which is English as a second language, for recent immigrants who don't know English well enough, and refugees. And with that, you can have it in the church building, so people will be exposed to your church. And you can have it at a time just before, let's say, a midweek Bible study or before a prayer meeting. So you can, at the end of the class, you can invite them to join the church event. You can also ask for some minimal amount of money to cover the cost of the curriculum that you're going to buy. There are many curriculums for English for a second language. Some of them actually are biblically based. You can use that. There's one called Language Olympics. It's based on the Old Testament stories. So it can really connect you with many people from different religious backgrounds. You can also get certified, or people in your church get certified in TEFL, which is Teaching English as a Foreign Language, or TESOL, which is Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages. And when you have that certification, sometimes you will get more people want to come and join, and they actually would like to come and experience the services or the Bible study that you have after. So you open a door for your church. Now, the certification is not required to serve the community in that capacity, but it's going to be encouraged, and you will get referrals from different places of the same community. They want to send you people because you have certification. Now, I want to talk about friendship and discipleship, because friendship is primarily in North America is to have a good time, or we have a shared interest, we play golf together, or we have a hobby together. But friendships in these collective communities are actually made for support, because they want a friend who is dependable, reliable, a friend who is available, who is sacrificial, somebody I can depend on. So the collective really tests these relationships to see if that person is actually a friend or not. They are very easy to start a conversation with, but it's not easy to be friends with. They have to trust you, and it will take time. Now, that friendship building, not just get you access to one person, because they are a very close-knit group of people. If you build connection with one person, you will end up knowing the entire family, the entire tribe, the entire clan. So although it takes longer time to build these friendships, it actually gets you to be connected to way more many people than if you're starting a connection with one family in North America, which have very limited, close family members. So I do encourage people to build these friendships and be patient. And sometimes the friend that you're making is not the one who's hungry for the Lord. It could be his cousin or his uncle or a brother or a sister. So I usually encourage people, build the friendships, show love, make an effort, teach them English, taking places, help the other family members. And when they see that you're a trustworthy person, you become part of the in-group. And you're there in their weddings, in their birthday parties, in their major events. And with that, you will have access to a bigger group of people who, some of them, might be interested in knowing more about Christ. And I'm sure they will. And you have to understand, too, that with kinship principles in these communities, that they hire family members in their businesses. And if you start inviting people or one of the family members to come to church, they might feel threatened, because if they're going to change religion or denomination even, that means that they could leave the group, and that will weaken the group. So we want to be very cautious about inviting people publicly to come. And I focus my attention personally when there is a pressure from the group to keep the person in, is to do a discipleship before conversion. And this principle is actually is the same one used by Jesus Christ. He discipled his group of men before they converted to become Christian. And with that principle, you can avoid the pressure that the family and the collective communities can put on that person who is interested in Christ. And with the kinship principle that they have, they might lose their job. They might lose the way the place they stay in. They might lose all the family connections just for attending one church service, just by showing interest in your faith that is different than their faith or their denomination. So we have to be very aware of these things, and not naturally, like we do usually, is to publish and post these things on social media that, well, we had a friend getting baptized. We have to be very careful about the cost that these people will have when they, collective communities, see that. The collective community will shame and pressure everyone who is going to try to come out of that group. And we need to be very cautious to help them. We do have apostolic outreach material on globaltracks.com. And these material actually will in 63 languages. So we can share deeper apostolic information about the gospel with people in their own language, because even knowing some English does not mean that they will understand the deeper things in English. A casual English, language knowledge is not enough to talk theology and to talk about salvation. So we do have resources on globaltracks.com with many languages that you can use. It's free. And also we kind of use All Nations Sunday as an opportunity every October that we invite our friends from different cultures and languages to a special church event and say, hey, this is a special time of the year that we celebrate our diversity in our churches, and we tell the community that we want you to come. Everybody is welcome. We respect you. I respect your culture. We would want to have you be part of this service, and we can add you to the line of flags walking in if you're coming to represent your country. A lot of people will be so glad, so proud of their flag, they want to come and do that, even if they're not interested in the church itself. But when they are in the presence of God, things will change. I hope these tips would help you connect with your neighbor or a friend, or even in campus that come from a different culture. And I hope these tips will be giving you, an opportunity, and maybe will open a door for you and for your church to be part of this harvest. The harvest is white and ready for us, and we are so excited to be in this time, in this country, during this season. God bless you.